This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the host that's coming up. His name is Dr. Randall George Nozawa. Dr. Nozawa is living proof that a person can do everything right only to suffer horrific events that stymied decades of hard work and left him blind. The two most gruesome tragedies he suffered would make the fire-breathing Godzilla buckle in bitterness. Not Nozawa. He's grateful just to be alive. Nozawa had played high school football in Honolulu and later became a professional bodybuilder. When he moved to Washington, the muscle-bound Nozawa enrolled at the University of Washington's dental school, studied hard, and faithfully graduated. Yet, years later, after the opening of a handful of dental clinics, when he could finally afford the lifestyle he had always wanted, a tree came crashing down and foiled all his best laid plans. The second was when Dr. Nozawa was caught in the middle of a couple's domestic violence incident one fateful night. His neighbor first shot his wife dead, then shot Nozawa in the head from 12 inches away before finally shooting himself. Two tragic events that would change his life forever. You may call it tragedy. The doctor said, misfortune is just disguised as an opportunity. I say Spirit has a plan for everyone from the beginning, and Dr. Nozawa's plan has just began. Missing both eyes now, Nozawa has to get used to moving about indoors and out. Shortly after the shooting and recovery, he realized that he desperately needed help learning to navigate, so he signed up for Washington State's Department of Services for the Blind, which took 10 months to be admitted to. In his words, the doctor says, dreams do really come true, but you have to believe it before you can see it. He said he has made his own dreams come true by helping others pursue their life aspirations in his free 14-page book, Precipice of Potential, which can be downloaded from his website at www.drrandallgeorge.com. Nozawa asks provocative questions to help readers examine their own lives more closely, like, what do you do that fills you with joy and excitement? When is the last time that you gave something, anything, freely without expecting or wanting anything in return? What did you do with your last $20? Certainly food for thought. Dr. Randall Nozawa agrees with me that we are all family, and our conscious selves are, and have been since the beginning, a place where love, yes, love, is the most important thing in our lives. And I am is a term which means self-love is a human trait that makes us all whole with the universe. It's my honor to introduce to you, to the universe, your host tonight, Mr. Randall George Nozawa. Oh, yeah.
Here we are.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, still in February, exciting. And Yes, at times it will make you shiver. Boy, a great show today. I was wanting to get this guest on for a long time, and well, she agreed. She got past my pestering and kind of gave in. So here she is. But anyway, what's wonderful about you Bob and Pyramid One is that we get to talk about sex, politics, drugs, uh, food, toxins,
Yeah.
psychology,
Yeah.
and now religion. Just everything that is so taboo and everyone's got their own beliefs about. We get to bring up on this show that not only educates a lot of us, but also the Pyramid One worldwide audience. So glad to have Deirdre on the show, because when I was looking for guests, I ran across her bio, and she's an author and written a book pertaining to Christianity, and then I read through her bio, and just fascinating stuff. And I just wanted to get to know more about her, more about Christianity, which is really popular, and why people vacillate or pick up certain religions or certain systems to follow and abide by. So, Deja, welcome to the show. And hey, start off with perhaps a brief bio sketch of you, growing up, and what kind of led you to the Christian faith, and and what's brought you here to present. So, Deidre, welcome, and take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Randall. This is really a thrill for me, and I don't even know if we need me on the show after hearing your bio. Maybe we should just kind of celebrate everything you've been through, and you're an inspiration, and it's a pleasure to be here. And I didn't know the show covered all these other topics. That is great, and I am so happy to be in that mix. And so thank you so much. And I'm basically a writer, a freelance writer and editor. I did write this book, but my journey into Christianity started many years ago. And I grew up in a household where my parents fell away from faith. So I didn't, we didn't go to church. We didn't have those influences except through my grandparents. And I think the first seed maybe planted was my parents they still have both of them, thank God, and they're very loving and very open and accepting people. And they love people of any faith, any race. And I was raised in a household where you were respected until there was a great reason not to respect you. And I feel like that set the tone for a search, a spiritual search. And it was just, it was a great childhood. But I did have Christian grandparents. And, when I'm not a grandma yet, but I know from being a grandchild, when a grandma gets you in her clutches, she's going to plant her little seeds. She's going to, pull you aside and tell you about this mysterious person named Jesus. And, so it was a very warm introduction to the faith. And, then I, was raised in the swinging, 60s and 70s and in a very progressive community. And the Christians, I think that my parents encountered there were progressive, but I was always, I was also exposed to a lot of different cultures, Buddhism and, Muslims, a lot of different faiths. And the important thing, I think, especially now, is to respect another's faith while being able to practice your own. But that respect part is so important. And it's important to all good Christians, all true believers, that respect of another's faith, if it differs from your own, is so important.
No, thank you for all that. And boy, I just learned quite a bit about you and your family. But why I like my show, thanks to Bob, and why Bob has been so successful all these years is it's love and respect. And what I find in our current world, well, this is probably going on for a long time. But since my blindness and all that, I get to listen in on other people's podcasts, the news and who puts out the news, and I grew up in Hawaii, and in Hawaii politics there is no respect. There's winning.
Okay.
And trashing your opponent, and it's nothing to do with issues and all that, but you trash them for how they look, what they believe in, and it was tiring to listen to. And I said, oh my gosh. But why I wanted you on the show, because there's so much confusion about the Christian faith, and what you brought up is just these valid points that without respect for one yourself and for others, then it skews the view of what the world looks like and all. And what we hear largely in the media is it's in politics is Republicans versus Democrats, Christian versus Muslims, and Jehovah Witness and Mormon and all this kind of stuff. So there's this large win-lose kind of thing going on. And when you see people or you meet people, there is that thing, that universal thing that Bob founds the Pyramid One on, and how I kind of run my life is love. And nothing to do with religion, but if you have love for yourself and you start loving others and being open, you go, oh wow, your life is not much different from mine, and you can't speak my language, but we're about the same here. And so we kind of miss that connection. And I think I think the only thing good about this pandemic, fake panics going on, is that it's forced us to step back and kind of observe things. Why do we do what we do? Why do we think the way we think? Why do we feel the way we feel? And for you on the show is so important, because just from your brief introduction there, you're just repeating what kind of Bob is saying, respect and love. Respect and love.
It's true.
Comes first. And when you talk about the God around us and God inside of us, to me that's what God is all about. And the thing with Jesus is that he was an actual person. He actually lived. Okay. And what he brought to that stage back when is love and respect. And then yes, there is a God. So anyway, continue on and tell us what further made you go down this path, and then we become a researcher and writer and things like that. Any memorable moments in your path?
There really were. And I love your comments on love. And I think today in our society, we're becoming so fractured. I mean, isn't it such a conundrum that technologically, I mean, you and I can be together right now,
Yeah.
and we're so advanced in so many ways, and yet we see a schism in basic humanity. And I think love is the one thing we're just running, it seems, critically short of. And so I think the only way to evidence God's love is to, and I'm a poor, maybe person to do that, but is to just show love and respect for anybody that comes by my path. And so I really appreciate your comments, and I find them to be so true and to hold a lot of water. But my path was kind of funny, because my initial introduction to Christianity, after, when I developed my own brain, I was a teenager. It wasn't much of a brain, but my parents came back to faith, and they had become separated. Their marriage had kind of fallen apart, and separately, they come back to faith, the faith they were taught as children. So when they got back together, I was around 18, 19, and they wanted me to become involved in a church that they were, a Christian church. And I didn't really want to do that. I had my own mind. I wanted to make important decisions for myself, but I agreed to go to, I think it was called a Bible club, and it was kids around my age, and they were just very rude and dismissive. I didn't really know the Bible. I hadn't been raised in it. So my first entry was a rough one. and what that makes you do when a Christian does that to you makes you feel lesser. What the average person is going to say is, well, I will never do that again. I will never try to experience that again because it went so badly. So I kind of illustrate in my book, a Christian has a special responsibility to really act as Jesus would, not as a bracelet or a tag phrase, but live that experience. And I have to go on to say these kids grew out of their what I call kind of biblical superiority and became wonderful people, and they met life's tragedies and they grew, and in my mind God deepened them as they went to the University of Life, right? And life is not, as you know, Dr. Randall. So I didn't have a great initial entry, but I felt like God was leaving breadcrumbs in my path. I would pick up a book. I picked up a C.S. Lewis book. And I remember reading Lewis, and I was a young mom at this time. And I remember being struck by the thought that Jesus said he was the Son of God. And Lewis makes the point, well, somebody who says that is either crazy or he's exactly who he says he is. And nobody calls Jesus crazy. So what does that leave us with? So that was another breadcrumb, and it really got my wheels thinking. And I thought, gee, I wish I had picked up a People magazine or something, not this C.S. Lewis book. So I felt like God, I think everyone has a unique journey. My journey is not going to look like your journey, nor should it. You're unique on this planet. And my job as a Christian is to not get in God's way, not to do something that would make you say, boy, if that's a Christian, no, thank you. Next. So that's kind of, where I'm coming from. And the book has a lot of different stories about, it's called The Pretend Christian, which is kind of a provocative title, right? But it really is about how even after I came to faith, I was kind of pretending. I didn't even really know if it was true that Jesus had to be a part of the equation in Christianity, which is kind of crazy because it's named after him. So that was a little odd. But when I really came even years later from that to true faith, boy, what a difference. And I wonder if other Christians are maybe pretending a little bit. Maybe their pilot light has gone out on their faith. Maybe they are going through the motions. But, someday all the churches may close, and your relationship, it can't be going to mass or going to worship. It's got to be one to one.
Ooh.
And, that's what I'm trying to kind of promote, is that deeper look inside you and inside, your belief system. And you will be so happy if you do.
It's really funny that the way you said that. I'm just going to jump in here for a second, Doctor,
You
because
go.
what she said whacked me something fierce. What you're talking about? Oh, look at what's going on right now. You can't go to church. You can go to the shop mark or whatever, and then go there. You can go anywhere, but you can't go to church
Right.
because someone says, and I swear to God, there's a Satanist somewhere.
Mm.
That person is saying you can't go to church. Why can't you go to church if you can socialize in the shop? Your shopping mart or Walmart or wherever you want to go. Why can't you go to church? You're connecting with God. God is energy. Energy. Energy doesn't die. He may have died on a cross and he rose in 3 days, but that doesn't mean he's dead. He's not dead. He lives on and on and on. The energy never stops. That energy is in every single one of us. The only thing you have to do is you got to turn around and go, "Oh, there's a God," and all of a sudden, bam! Something smacks you right in the head and says, "Yes, there is."
Well, it's a I appreciate that, and I agree. And I've grown spiritually during the pandemic. I mean, what I decided to do was to just start studying. I feel like my book. I'm not a Bible scholar. I no, I never will be, but I wrote down my feelings and my experience in this book. And then I felt like God was saying, all right, now we're going to put your, money where your mouth is, and you're going to start learning about the Old Testament, the New Testament, my deeper message. So I'm in transit right now. I'm learning these deeper things. But Bob, I have to agree with you. We should be able to go to church. And yet, I use the phrase in the book, we sometimes trap God in our church. We trap him. We go for our hour and we worship and we check off that box. And then we say, all right, now it's my time. But really, God can be found in every pure endeavor.
Anyway.
And, when I used to tell my kids, one of my chapters is called, Why Have I Not Heard of This God? And what that means is one of my kids, I was his CCD teacher, we're Catholic. And I don't think I was doing that well of a job because he was so frustrated. He was about 14 and he was saying to me, I don't care. I don't care. I want to be out with my friends and it's just blah, blah, blah. It's just rules and the law. And I don't get it. And I really think God gave me the words because I said to him, he loved to snowboard and he still loves it today. And I said, Fred, when you're barreling down a mountain and you are in nature and you are feeling that rush and feeling that wind and feeling like, I don't know what's going to happen in the next second, but I'm loving this second. God is there with you. God is loving your sense of adventure. He created you. He wants you to do things. So in my mind, if your destiny, if you were created to love the bottom of the ocean as a scuba diver, that's your experience of God. God is revealing himself. If you love playing the cello, God is revealing himself. So once I said that to him, he said something so quaint. He said, Why have I not heard of this God? And I named the chapter that because so often Christians, and I include myself back then, we focus on rules. But
Yeah.
what about God that loves adventure, that loves joy, that loves every honest laughter we have, not at anyone's expense, but when you have that laugh that is so deep with an old friend, God is in there. So we have to remember God is very complex. Our minds can't contain his complexity, and let's broaden the conversation about God.
I wonder if Jesus Christ laughed when all the fish fell out of the sky, and he turned around and picked up a fish and said, "Wrong one."
I think I think Jesus love can you see
Seriously,
a
I mean,
Jesus, a real man
yeah,
laughing with his friends? He had dear friends. I don't know of two dear friends who haven't laughed together, who haven't enjoyed a party or a celebration. We know he did. He went to the wedding. Um, we this is just we've trapped Jesus too in the pages of our Bibles. Let's bring him out to be a real friend who I've told Jesus, the Jesus I know, some pretty, wacky, maybe nonsensical stuff, with the full sense that he's with me. He's with me.
That is
Doc,
so.
Doctor,
Okay.
in your case, even JC manifests in
Mm.
ways, many, many different ways. Like I do it walking the dog at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's it's walking meditation. There's
I
nothing,
love it.
no noise, nothing but me and the stars and the dog. And the dog looks at me and says, "You nuts?" but but still, I mean, that's when I do.
Mm.
That's my time in there in God's time. But when you look at other people don't realize sometimes that anywhere, anytime. I mean, forget about it. You can go in a back room somewhere and just spend time for a little bit. But think about what you did, where you were, what you were doing, who you know, who you're going to help, who you're going to talk to, who you're seeing tomorrow. All of these things that plan that you made comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
It didn't come from your mind. We're all connected, all of us. It's like a universe plug-in. So it's better than taking your cell phone and saying, "Oh, listen, I'm gonna charge this thing up today. Plug it in." We can plug in to the God universe anywhere. You can be a Muslim. You can be any religion out there. All of them. Do you realize? Does any of these people all realize that the same guy that they're talking about is the same guy? All of them. It's the same one person. There's not two of them, three of them, four of them. There's not a separate, Muslim doctor or this, that, the other thing. There's all one guy. And that one guy is the guy we're all saying our prayers to. And of course, Jesus Christ is only an arm of that. There's other saints out there. There's other angels out there. There's an angel with you, Doctor, and you, Deirdre, right now. They're there. Do we know that? Of course not. Unless we believe in it. And that's where what you said about church, you're absolutely 1,000% correct. Because I can be in my car driving down the street, and I got an angel next to me. I didn't have to go to a church to look under the pew and go, "You there yet?" It's like not one of those kind of things. And that, or the guy that passes around the plate net for you to put the dollar in and say, "Okay, now Angel, you put in yours, I'll put in mine." It's not that kind of a thing in that, but to smile, love, be as in a being, and exist in this universe is the most beautiful thing we were given when we were made humans. It doesn't care what color you are, or which religion you are, or what country you're in, or where on the map you happen to say that's my place over there. It don't count that way. We're all one. And God said he was one. And we're all in that one. So, for instance, you're in Boston, and he's in Washington, and I'm in Florida. So, okay, Boston and Florida are in the same Eastern Standard Time. But do you realize that we're watching the Doctor and he's in the past?
Mm.
So where are we? This is our now. Now, the people that are listening to us that are in Europe, that's in our future. They are listening to their past. Okay? So where are we? We are one. This is now. Your now is your now anywhere. Just like God is with you anywhere now. See? Some close to the rocking chair and you're not there from here.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I think Central, and this is a show, obviously, that loves to kind of welcome all voices, welcome all faiths to the table. And so I have my belief that Jesus and Christianity is the answer, and a lot of that is where I was born, who I was born into, someone who is of the Muslim faith. They were born into perhaps a Muslim family. And so I feel like it's kind of like we're in the life rafts now. It's, the ship is sinking and we need to stop squabbling with each other and start paddling together. And even within the Christian faith, um and will ever be, I suppose, but I think it's something that's coming to a head now. Denominational squabbles
Yeah.
happen, and we're perhaps arguing over these little things. And really, I think it's time as Christians to say, look, we believe, the Catholics and the Protestants and the Presbyterian, we all believe in one thing. We believe Jesus, died for sin and is the gateway to heaven. Why must we, fight with each other? So I think respect and really having the discipline, frankly, to stop fighting. There's some discipline involved to any good pursuit. And I think we need to discipline ourselves to focus on love, respect, truth. study, and each other.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, Deirdre, if you decide to run for president, I will vote for you because, well, we need someone like you
I
because
will too.
when you look at all these boneheads now that are occupying,
Oh,
the news spaces, it's like, I'm very nonviolent, but they make me violent. I listen to these fools and it's like, wow, do you understand what you're saying? This is craziness. This has nothing to do with love and all to do with power and, a bigger military. And, if you don't do it my way, I'll just bomb you. Okay.
and Dr. Randall, it's so true. And look at the people suffering. Sometimes you watch the news now, and the U.S. looks like newsreel from other countries. I mean,
Yes.
we have homeless, living and dying in our streets. We have drug issues. So, the politicians are too used to power. That's just it. They are too used to power. They've gotten too comfortable and they have forgotten us. I would say many of them have forgotten us. So it's distressing, and it certainly is not what God wants. And I'm studying the Old Testament now. He warned leaders over and over and over again. And, it's just a sad state of affairs, but we're human beings, and that's where the discipline comes in. We have to remember our focus, no matter where we are, the halls of power or in a homeless shelter. Who are we? What do we stand for?
No, well, why I wanted you on the show, because when I listen to you speak, you remind me a lot of the Dalai Lama.
Oh my
Saying
goodness.
jiatsu, jiatsu. No, because
He'd be terrified.
well, I've studied not an in-depth study, but a long study in different religions for about half a year. And I get things like Buddhism and the current Dalai Lama, and what he's done is he's changed many of the rules that Buddha had created because he goes, oh, Master Buddha, he didn't understand science. I do. He was
Mm,
wrong. So he
mm,
changed a lot of that. And then from there, when he's asked, yours is Buddhism, why? And what about Christianity? What about Islam? What about, all these others? He goes, I respect them all because, these are people that want to get closer to God. And, there's rules with everything. But all that is, people searching for answers, but it's all founded on love. So when I listen to you talk, it's like, hearing him. And he's actually, in some of the clips I've listened to, he actually tells jokes. It's like, oh my gosh, and and then, when asked, things other than love, he goes, oh, I don't think or feel of anything other than love. So I don't know what you're talking
mm.
about. You see, so, when I listen to you talk, your message is so clear because many, and just the title of your book, because when I meet these so-called Christians, they're Christians on that hour on Sunday only, but different when they get into the parking lot. Get out of my way, you scumbag. That's my space. Kind of stuff like that. Or I deserve this more than you. You're homeless, or you're a lowlife, stuff like that. And I
Mm.
listen to that kind of stuff. I go, wow, you just came out of church. Oh my goodness. You see, so what your brand of Christianity is founded on love. And then, as a as an energy medicine doctor, I just look at, say, a body. What a miracle that is
Mm.
in us. We and what a lot of the current docs say out there is that we give things names, like lungs, liver, heart, brain, and all that. But some energy had to put this all together. Some incredible intelligence had to
It's
breathe it all
true.
together, and we're only just repeating what's already been there. And so, I listen to you, and you are a leader, founded on love, and then you allow people to learn, and you're empathic. You're saying, okay, we're all different and all that. We have a different footprint, carbon footprint, and I said we have a different soul print, and we all have different voices, and we all have different handwriting, and these are all specific to us, and we all have our destiny if we choose to go do that. But see, what you've done is you've taken a path, and you focused on it, and it was, just based on the brain science I've listened to, it's focus is based on acetylcholine, in your brain. So the more you focus, the more you make acetylcholine, and then you enact the norepinephrine dopamine type of couple, and now you want to go do that, and you wrote your book, and this is what you tell your family and all that. So there's a lot of brain science for this. And once again, I go back to, who the heck thought of all this stuff up? We're only, we're into that, 2021, and there's only current research the past few years that has brought up more of this brain science, because we know nothing about the brain, 1% maybe, and then no one knows anything about virology or immunology, but everyone's got this opinion: lockdown, wear a mouth diaper, stay 6 feet apart. I go, where'd you get all this stuff from? Jesus wouldn't be locking himself down. He talks to folks, and he knows, what's out there. And then, that God is out there, and then he will get answers, from God. But, it's all based on love. And then he shared that.
It is, Dr. Randall, I love that. And, I'm sorry you've encountered Christians like that. And I'll let people down. I might let people down later tonight. Who knows? No one's perfect. But it reminds me, in the book, I do quote Gandhi. And Gandhi at one time was interested in Christianity, and he was called a cruel slur by a Christian. And he uttered kind of a quote I'll never forget. He said, "I like your Christ. I do not like your Christians. They are so unlike your Christ." So, what a heavy, thing to say. And I love what you say too about our individuality, our uniqueness. And, what brilliant, indescribable mind and force creates each one of us so uniquely down to the cellular level, and loves us so completely. And, and we lift up each other. I learned your story. I read your bio, over a week ago, and really concentrated on your bio and meditated on it. And that lifted me up. So your story takes on so many dimensions, and you're living it. It's your lived experience. But, we have such a short time here. I just feel like we have so much to share, and you are stepping out there and doing that, which I so admire and appreciate. And I'm trying to do that in my way with this book. But, we don't have that much time. Trees live a lot longer than we do, right? Let's get to it. Let's get to the piece.
No, it's true. And then, like I said, that I know your book is out there, but yours is a person that I think needs to be in front of large audiences so they can listen to you, because how you deliver your truth, and how you feel about Christianity is a lot different than what's out there, and people are confused because you've got these guys on TV, the televangelists and all that, and they're doing all these miraculous things, but only if you send in money, kind of deal, or I'll send you a prayer cloth, if you give me a couple bucks, kind of deal.
And I will be harsh on them with you.
Oh, that is, it is so gross, because folks attend, their like performances, in stadiums, capacity, kind of waiting for, here's the word. And from there, you say a couple verses, and, well, if you want more, then all you have to do is send in this and join us and then money from the people that can't afford it. Because they're going to give their last $2 because God will save me because this guy says, and then now it becomes more and more not only convoluted but polluted. So you bring truth and you bring love to the stage, and I'm so glad that you're on here, because it's we so need this. And people like you. So, besides the book, well, I would just so encourage you to get in front of large audiences, because people need to know about Christianity and your message behind it and your uniqueness, because there are many Christians out there, and I know many of them, they call themselves that, and they're not. And then you don't want to say, hey, you're a liar, you're a fake, you're a fraud, and all that. But I guess then I just asked them questions because I've done some study. I said, did you know this? Did you know where Capernaum is? Do you know what Jesus did for a living? Okay, do you know what he did to to walk to find a job and things like that, and all the bad things that happened to him? And he just kept barreling on, and it was all love, and that's why I like this show, and Bob has made a success of Pyramid One based on that one concept of just love. And what you bring is just an insight to that, because people are lost because they or no, we I kind of grew up like that. When I was growing up in Hawaii, they built a church, and my parents forced me to go. And I wondered why they never attended themselves. Because, well, my mom goes, well, I got to clean the house. And my dad goes, oh, the Boston Celtics are on. I'll come get you after the game's done.
Right.
Oh, okay. And, here's your $1, and then put it in. You can't take anything out. Okay. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all this. And it's, they're, even the teachers there they would recite things, but even as a child, I go, I don't think you understand that, and you weren't there, so I don't get it. And when I observe, I was great at observing things of other people, how they spoke to others and what they did. I go, I can see, and I'm not deaf. You guys really don't say what you pretend to say, I suppose. And so that's why your authenticity, is, to me, so valuable, that you come here and you just tell the truth. Because in the Bible, like it is in all other religions, there's rules, and the rule breaking, is called sin, I guess, in Christianity, but in other words, and different religions. So everyone's breaking these rules, and somehow you've got to do this penitence thing, or get forgiveness, or do something to undo it. And also, I said, there's all these rules, but love is never talked about. Love is never talked about. Individuality is never talked about. Making mistakes is never talked about. You see,
oh my goodness.
So you bring so much authenticity, and then just reality and truth to it. And I just think just God speaks through you, and all. But the way you've lived your life and how you share it is, I think folks would understand Christianity a lot better. I think besides reading your book, if you had large audiences.
Well, I don't know how I do with that, Dr. Randall. And
just like you're doing now, just like this, just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk.
Well, I might need you as my coach, my sidekick, because
I like being a sidekick.
And there you go. Well,
let me know.
Yeah,
I love this kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Our world is in trouble, and people want it to go back to normal. It never will, because there are globalists, involved, that you may know about, but people that control the resources and money supply. There are not so great people out there, but there is still love out there. Okay?
There is. There's still God. And I do this practice with myself. And Christianity, a lot of it is a process of giving up the self, and a process of giving up your control, which is an illusion. And so my process has been to compare myself, and sometimes in the morning I'll say a prayer, Lord, make me a feather. And the feather in the wind just blows, and it goes, and it just is going to God's wind. Whatever God wants me to do in the day, it could be small. There are ministries that there are personal ministries. There are some people that visit one neighbor once a week. That's a small ministry. There are people that speak in front of millions. That's another ministry. But God will tell you, if you become kind of like a feather, you lose your own control over your will. You say, God, let your will be done. It's very relaxing. It's very freeing. But if you're visiting a neighbor, or if you're clearing a median strip that you feel a particular interest in, that's your little ministry. God has spoken to you over something, and you're saying, yes, Lord, I will do that. And that's a beautiful thing. So, I think in my way, if I'm doing a good job, I recede and God advances. People can see God more clearly and not me. And I hope to kind of discipline myself that way. I want God to step forth and me to step back.
Well, you've already done that. And, what you are referring to is this concept called synchronicity.
Mm.
And based on intuition, but in life we are put in situations where you don't know why that's happened, or someone says a certain thing, or you anticipate a certain thing, but it's all both mind, microbiome, body, soul kind of things like that. But when these things come up, you go, oh, here it is, this open door. I find open doors all the time, and I find miracles all the time, because I'm just open to it, just aware. And just coming back to this, a show like this, is that without the blindness, and Bob might argue with me here, without the blindness and losing everything that I own, I don't think I would be here to meet Bob. And although in that, and it was a reason, a door opening for me. My past was past, and I needed that to get here. But to me, this was an open door. And, I think that without the blindness, I would never have met you, because I would not know about a software reading program, audible reading program that is made for blind people. And as I looked up, this one service that Bob recommended to me, I found your name. I go, oh, she sounds so interesting. And that's where the synchronicity is. I wonder if she's going to write back to me, because I'd like to have her on the show. Many people don't write back to me, and even when I pester them, they don't write back to me.
Well, it's
but you see, you did. And like I said, I get to meet you, and I can feel your energy, and well, like I said, many of the doctors and researchers out there now just call just science, just knowledge of what's already there. And then they say, philosophy is where you learn things. And in all of these scientists and researchers that I listen to, their podcasts, or I read their newsletters just to keep myself updated, medicine, they go, love is so powerful, no one can understand it, nor can we define it. And there's no experiment we can do to, see what it is, but it's so powerful. And so you got these scientists, from, MIT and Johns Hopkins and all these, famous colleges. We don't know what the hell it is. And wow, it sure works though.
Yeah, it works. And, I kind of love the idea of anything that's unmeasurable. And it's kind of like, sometimes I think, look at space exploration. It is noble to God, but I sometimes think he loves us so much. Way back when he said, I'm going to let them figure out some of this. I'm going to really let them explore the cosmos, and they are going to love it. And it will be a passion for some. But, I think he loves us so much. He sets up these wonderful passions that, in a sense, maybe we'll never get to the end of it. Maybe we'll never fully understand it. Only God will. But I love that stuff. I find that so energizing.
No, you see, that's neat. And, Bob's got this new channel called the Hope Channel. And it's meant for people to call in and kind of express their needs or their feelings and all that. And for him, it's wanting to connect those that have been disconnected. And this what's going on right now is just a total disconnection and fear, and staying at home and staying away from other people, and saying that socializing is a cause of ill health and things like that. And so we need a change, and we need leaders like you out there, just like that, because no one speaks about how powerful love is, how powerful respect is, how powerful just believing is, because we've been filled with a lot of, I think, misinformation, and people with just negative agendas. But yours is authentic. Yours comes from the heart, and all you do is repeat of what you study. And I think we need more of that kind of stuff because yes, on the atomic level we're the same. We're 99.9% energy and point 1% solid, or matter that alternates every 1 millionth of a second. So it's like, who the heck set that up? And how did science figure this out? Because it was already there.
I
What
love that.
what incredible intelligence thought of. You pick up a rock, something's underneath that rock, and you don't even have a name for it, but this living thing is like, what are you and what the hell do you do in life? Yeah, I'm a big shot. I make a crap load of money and people know me, blah blah this. And if I didn't pick up this rock, no one would even know you're there. What the hell do you do? And
Right.
so it's stuff like that, that energy, that's really incredible. And here, I'll let you go on with this, but it's I've been studying viruses for a lot of years, and then especially more so now with this coronavirus going on. But you're from Boston, and there's this researcher named Herbert Virgin. He's one of the pioneers in virology, and he goes, people in Boston, he goes, my colleagues, they've got different viruses in them, so he wants to name it the chowder virus. Because and then he goes, I don't know why this is, but people in Boston have a different type of viruses that are different on tests, but they haven't named them yet. And people coming from Britain or Scandinavia or Canada, they've got different viruses too. So he goes, why is that? And how come the viruses are made all the time? Who the hell thought of all this stuff? And why do viruses work with bacteria in our genes to turn them on and off to keep us healthy? Who thought of all this? You see, and when I meet someone like you, it's like, wow, anything's possible. Anything is damn possible. And when you say, well, I don't know, but we actually do know. So no, but please continue on, because I just find you so comforting, and so just your high energy. I resonate with you, and then just the information you throw out there, it's like, wow, tell me more. So please tell me more.
And I resonate with you too. And I was just listening to you thinking how much I'm just on a personal level enjoying this conversation.
Me too.
I think there's something special about, three people who, and I'm including Bob, of course, producer extraordinaire, who don't know each other, coming together around a topic and not knowing what each other knows about a topic. But I think for me, the impetus to do the book was, it started as an essay. And I thought I had worked a very difficult job in a sense that I had put in many long hours. And when I left that job, I was an editor at a website. And when I left that job, I said, I'm just going to write for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started an essay kind of to open up my creative hatches again, after a while. And it started, and I felt God's pleasure, if I can put it that way. I felt what I was doing was somehow pleasing in its way. And so I continued on. And I kept writing, and the book isn't long. It's a little over 100 pages. And when I didn't have any more to say, I stopped. And I, ended up getting a great response to it. It's not out yet. It's available for pre-order. But I think that when you, again, kind of day by day, and tomorrow isn't promised. Nobody knows that better than you, Dr. Randall. My tomorrow isn't promised. So I have to every night, and in the best of times, and believe me, I fall short so much. It's incredible. But go to bed going, I did my best, maybe in small ways, maybe in quiet ways. But if tonight I died, I'd be ready. And the Bible warns us over and over again about that. But my great joy in getting into the Bible, and I'm really a neophyte with the Bible study, is, there are two areas: the law, which is what we all concentrate on, and the gospel, which is the good news. And I think in our culture, we forget it's both. Yes, there are rules. There are rules to Christianity, but there's also great news. And when you become a true believing Christian, believe me, you want to behave, not because a book told you to, the Bible told you to, but you've changed. you've changed and you want to be good and you want to serve others. And again, I fall short, but for me, I didn't become a better person when I met the real Jesus. I became a person who wanted to do better. And
Mm.
in many ways, my life got harder um, because I think, don't you agree? It's so funny how humans work. We want the mystical experience, right? And then we get the mystical experience and we start doubting it.
Yeah.
We enjoy it for maybe an hour and then we go, wait, did that happen? Did did I have a mystical experience? Did I have a supernatural experience with Jesus? And for me, I did. And it was wonderful. It was kind of quiet. It dawned on me, the Holy Spirit, as we would call it in Christianity, kind of came down and I realized, and I was with a friend, I was just sitting in a car, I realized it's all true. It's all true.
And it
And
and it feels good.
it felt
Yeah.
it was kind of an amazement, a child's amazement at maybe seeing the moon or an eclipse. I just went, wow. And I ran inside and I opened a child's Bible that I had for my kids. And I looked through the pages and tears just poured down my cheeks as I realized that I could understand
Mhm.
every page. And I couldn't, before this, even really feel a child's Bible, let alone, an adult's Bible. So, but life did get harder because God knows we do live on earth and he created us as humans who have to eat, which makes dieting hard. We have to drink, which for some is very hard. He's put us in a place where we do have struggles. What do we do with those? How do we relate to our struggles? So it's, Christianity is the joy of my life. I love its mystery. I am obsessed with learning about it right now. And I've learned that I'm both greater yet infinitely smaller than I'm both.
I've heard that.
Yeah, so it's a weird feeling. I'm uniquely precious to God, and yet I see now how powerful He is. And so I'm just happy to be here at the end of the day and I feel your life has so much meaning and value, Bob's and all of us. And, there's a lot of despair in the world today, and that makes me sad. And I just hope to share kind of some of my good news and also to be respectful of people who don't feel the way I do. And another thing Christians could do better at. And in the book, at the end of each chapter, there's a section for the believer as well as a section for the searcher. So there's little
Ah,
tips if you're a Christian, things you could be doing a little better to help someone on their search. And some of it is just listen instead of trying to convert them or save them in the Christian, lingo, save them, listen to them,
Mhm.
you
oh, that,
know?
oh no, that is beautiful because Bob, if you remember, back when I had Susan Cottrell on the show, and you may not know her, Deidre, but Susan is uh, mom, and they're involved in the church, and she had 5 children and all that, and so all her friends were from the Christian church, and that's how it was, and everything was happy and all that. They actually live in Seattle here, not too far away from me, and then she found out later. Her 2 daughters came back from college and admitted to their mom that we're both gay.
Okay.
And then from there she goes, what? Really? And then so so this mom Susan, she goes silently to all her church friends. What do you think about homosexuality? Oh, that's a sin. God doesn't want that. Oh, good grief, why do you ask? Oh, I'm just asking. And then she goes, wow, and she goes home to her husband. We have no friends now because
Mm,
we've got gay daughters. So and she's still she's actually a stronger Christian now, But and she still reads the Bible, but she has to reinterpret what she's reading, because she goes, when all of her church friends, supposed friends, says that homosexuality is a sin, and they don't want to talk with her anymore. So they had to change churches. But
Isn't that sad?
and then from there, she goes, well, I love my daughters, and God is with us all the time. So I'm just going to have to reevaluate. But I learned this she did a TED Talk.
Mm.
And I asked her about that on the show. She said, "But you did a TED Talk in front of all these thousands of people."
That is
And she goes, I said the same thing. Now what?
right.
Everything that I believed in is, wow, my friends won't even talk to me anymore.
And
So,
I don't understand that. And, that's where a Christian could use their will. They could say, this is kind of a great exercise, and one I've had to do at different points. I know what I believe, and maybe the church people do believe, that homosexuality is a sin, and that's their business. But they can use their discipline to say a greater, rule, if you want to look at rules, is not to judge. And so, could I, as a human who doesn't know everything and who could really hurt this person, could I choose not to judge and instead to listen and to love? And if your default is judgment, your outcome will always be the same, I think.
yeah.
And ultimately, you will never be happy. You'll always be judgmental. So I'm not putting myself above the people that responded to her, but I'm sorry that she did get that response, and sounds like she's found a whole
Oh no, she's created a new. Forgot her organization name, but she's inviting all the folks that are gay, homosexual, bisexual, transgender, gathering them all together and say, God loves you too, and God's in you, and let's pursue this, because and hers is the same platform. Love is the only way, and in my simplistic way of thinking, and not knowing a lot about the Bible, so I think we're all God's children. And all of our uniqueness is what was planned for us. And so what we do with it. And so when it comes down to it, empathy, respect, and then, love. When you start from a foundation like that, they go, oh, okay. Because, when you look at us individually, we all have weird habits, weird likes, dislikes, or things like that. Or I hate tomatoes, but I love squash. It's like, what? What do you mean? And so when it's like that, especially now, depending what kind of politics you listen to or who's leading everything, it's like someone that's different looking, has a different language, or they truly live in poverty, and things like that. Is, oh, look at them overseas, oh, they're savages, oh, mama. I said, we're we're the same, by the way.
We're called the human race. We're
gosh, yes, we're all part of it, and then like I said, that when we can unite everyone with love, empathy, understanding, we can get, I think, more things done. That's why we need more leaders, and I think you're one of them, and I think Bob's one of them, and because unless you make love come first, then we're always condemning, criticizing, and it's win-lose. I win, you lose, I'm better, you're bad, blah, blah, blah. And life is, by contrast, which I think was meant to be, because you're not going to know short without tall.
Right.
You're not going to know light skin without dark skin, and things like that. So life is by contrast. However, that contrast, I believe, needs to be accepted, because our diversity, our differences make us all alike. And that's how we grow. And, and from the minuscule microbe level of bacteria and viruses that have evolved long before humans came along, they're a part of our DNA, they're part of our genes, and they mature also. And bacteria and viruses can sense danger. They can feel electromagnetic type of things, 5G, Wi-Fi, hint hint.
Yeah.
All those satellites out there, all the things that are in these fake foods that weren't meant to be in our bodies. Okay, and so from the microbe level, they can sense disharmony, You see, and then when everything's harmonious, because they all live together with, we have viruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites, molds in our body, and they're all commensal, that they live in harmony, and we get to thrive. And when new viruses and bacteria are introduced to us, which happens yearly, is that we develop more resilience for our species. So we're supposed to, feel all this, and to me, that's a form of love, because what God has given us is that ability to innovate, to adapt, to overcome.
And that's so cool, because you obviously have your passion, and God gave you that, passion to express yourself and understand the universe within that context, and that's a beautiful thing. He made you interested in these things, and it made you, interested in medicine and in science. And yeah, we have to not, as a good example, after the election and everything that happened, I had been consuming. I was a consumer of news.
Yeah.
And I just turned it off, and I just said, that was a season. It wasn't a very pretty season at all. And you're going to put those things behind you now. And you are going to focus on the really important things. And I guess I'm getting the message lately. Discipline and self-discipline is a big part of being spiritual. And I never would have equated those things. I guess I thought spiritual was kind of la-di-da, but directing your mind to higher things is something I've been thinking a lot about, and sensing the limited nature of life. We're not going to be here forever, and so I sound kind of morose, but I'm not. I say this all in a positive, positive way. And frankly, I can't wait to get to heaven someday.
Yeah.
And because my belief is that strong. And
Nice place.
yeah, have you been, Bob? You have, I
Well,
think.
actually, he's went through that near-death experience, so he knows what that feels like.
I had told him earlier I was very interested in those stories because, God can either hit you with a hammer, like a near-death experience where all of a sudden you are seeing reality, or you learn over a lifetime with your breadcrumbs, what the truth for your life is.
By the way, you two, this is the end of the show. but now let me make this. I mean, really, and if the doctor doesn't do it, I will do it. You're invited back to be in with three of us again. I might even bring in some other people too at the same time.
Oh heavens! I would listen. I love you guys, and I, Dr. Randall, you are really such an inspiration, and it's a blessing to me to talk to you. And I consider you my friend now, so you're stuck with that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I need more friends. Yeah.
Well, you got one. And Bob, thanks so much, and congratulations on this network.
Amen. We're going to be, let me see, 11 years old in June.
Congratulations. I'll come back anytime.
Oh, baby. It's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Now, where can we get in touch with you, Deirdre?
Well, let's see. I am lurking on the internet in a few places. I do have a website. It's really my name, www.deirdrereilly.com. But if that's too hard to remember, there's a lot of E's and I's in my name. If you Google The Pretend Christian, you will get to me that way. And you can see a link to pre-order the book. You can get to my website that way. But please, anything I can do for you, just let me know.
I got another little tidbit here. Go to Amazon and just put in The Pretend Christian.
There you go.
Bam. There she is. Story about it. The reviews are awesome. I read them all. I mean, I got past like the third one. I said, no, I got to finish these off.
Well, I'm blessed.
They were that good. I mean, people love you. And again, there's that word love. We were talking about that before, and the doc talked about that. It surrounds us. We were brought here because we loved. We were our souls when we were coming. People don't get the whole story. Your soul gets to choose where you want to go. You don't go around once. You may go around more times if you feel that that's what it is. If your complete, um, your whole creation of the soul is not finished, is not filled up, then you have things to do as a human, or on another planet, or in another universe.
That's
Doesn't
a whole
matter.
other show. We could do another show.
Oh, do you have no idea? I mean,
Planetary show.
we've been around the world and off this planet many times. And it's, people that listen to these shows, they often write to me and they say, "You got to be kidding me. Was it that good?" Of something that we talked about, or something we talked on a show. And I said, if you listen to it twice, you'll get it. You
Right. Right. Well, yeah, it's a process, right? Like this thing called life.
Well, there you go. That's our book.
There you go.
We're writing it. We were born. We started out. I mean, let's face it. When I was 3, I was singing. So, hey, so where was I? And that was too many years ago. Yeah. All right. So, Doc, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, hey, email me at mirabelle.nozawa@gmail.com, mirabelle.nozawa@gmail.com. Would love to spend time with you, and if I can help in any way, let me.
Now, if anybody wants to get in touch with Deborah, or they want to get in touch with Doctor, this is what you do. You just write to the Bob Charles Show, or Bob Charles Show at live.com, or Pyramid1 Radio at AOL.com. Easy? Yes, we'll send you everything. We'll send you a copy of the show. We'll send you any answer to any question you want. We'll even call you up on the phone and say, "Hi, how you doing?" But hey, listen, we've been known to do crazier things than that. So anyway, we're like out of here. You guys were awesome, both of you.
Wonderful.
Deirdre, we got to talk.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind everybody too, and that shows like this are something that comes from the heart. It came from the people who put it together. It came to the people that met each other, not knowing each other, but you know them now. Listen to the show, listen to the video, write into the video, put comments in the channel, you'll find the video. Just go to Pyramid1 Radio at AOL.com, and I'll send you a copy of this show. As we always say, from here, from our hearts, from Pyramid1 Radio. God bless y'all. Bob Charles.